The Angels of Delusion are finally here, and a lot of new players are experiencing the game for the first time. Even though some of you started in the last patch of Zenless with Ye Shun Wang, I promise you can still take advantage of the advice in this video. Just in case it needs to be stated for anybody listening, obviously play the game however you want to enjoy it. This video's purpose is purely to help the type of player that wants to have fun with their journey through the game and efficiently reach the end game without meeting a dozen new issues they weren't prepared for. Trust me, doing the work to unbrick your account is way worse than taking just a few small steps to make sure that you're going to do it right the first time.
Are you tired of losing? Are you tired of losing those 50-50s to bullshit? Well, don't worry, big dog, I got just the deal. Let me show you a popular website that helps gamers buy more for less. Not only can you score games for less, but they've also gotten a partnered top-up services, meaning you can buy your pulls cheaper too.
Oh, that's nice.
On top of that, Aniba offers something else I haven't seen any other site do: a 10% cash back with each purchase. Now I get cheaper pulls and my money back. But wait, there's more. Using my link in the description box will get you all set up to start saving more money today. Now get out there and go pull that new character.
First up, let's talk about what I believe to be the most important tip for everyone. Pick a top tier. That's something from fighting games, like I know, but let me elaborate so that you guys can understand it here. Cool. Pick a top tier in this context doesn't explicitly mean only look at tier 0 options. It means pick an agent that you want to mainly play and make sure that agent is strong or versatile enough to carry you along for the next bundle of patches. Why? Because the story will allow you to build up 2 entire teams ready for endgame without overexpending any extra resources. I'll talk about teams in the next tip, so let me finish this one. In order for you to maximize this choice, there are 3 major factors to pay attention to. 1. Who is currently on the banner when you start the game? 2. What character did you get from your free 40 pull selector? And 3. What characters are coming in the future up to 1 patch from now? These 3 points are what will determine your top tier pick. Just for a visual example, I'll use my own free-to-play account. My goal was to save and build towards the Angels of Delusion and potentially pull Ye Shun Wang or Sanbi as my attack agent of choice. The free standard S rank I got though was Soldier 11, which was a huge blessing because now I'm not as dependent on grabbing another attack agent before I reach the end game. Instead, I can focus my pulls on a strong team for Arya. At the same time, I have access to strong A-rank agents like Minato or Piper while I work on building for the next limited team. By following this method, I'll always be able to shift and adjust my plan without much of an issue. But now you might be asking yourself, how do I ensure my decisions now won't negatively affect me in the future? And that's a great question, little Timmy. Let's talk about it.
To make this easier, we can continue off the previous tip of pick a top tier. Now our focus shifts into managing priority pools, building around what we currently have, and making sure we do not neglect some of the most impactful agents on our account. First is prioritizing pools. Earlier, I spoke on how my second account's initial plan was to aim for Arya or Ye Shun Wang, depending on if we won the 50-50. I lost. So Arya it is. With the upcoming patch having up to 180 plus pulls available, this makes it a lot more feasible for me to pick up the entire AOD team since Suna is guaranteed now, and I'll have enough to shoot for Arya afterwards. But without having YSG, my need for Suna is even lower than before. So now I can choose to skip Suna and save everything for Arya plus Nongon, since they'll have more impact together. Yuzuha is coming too, and she can help out any anomaly team. Next is looking at what's on my account. Soldier 11, Minato, Rina, Pokra, Nicole, Zhao, and a few others. I have most of the effective agents that help glue a team together. Anomaly, attack, or rupture, doesn't matter. And so if we were doing this a little bit more from a live demonstration, let's say that I was going to my team builder, and I kind of already did it here, but I'll do it again. We're gonna pick a character. I already mentioned Soldier 11, so it's easier for me to start off with her. We do Soldier, and now what does Soldier 11 want? Let's see, we go into skills, and we're gonna wanna activate this additional ability here, which is gonna be any other character who shares the same attribute or faction. Now, I don't have any other Obel Squad characters on my account, so the only other character I can use is gonna be Lucy. So we're gonna put Lucy on the team because there's really no other, you can't do anything else, right? If I had someone else like maybe Orphe or Trigger, then I'd be able to use those characters and put them on the team. After that, because I have Lucy and Soldier 11 does care about the stun window due to the fact that she gets an increase whenever the enemy is stunned or she's doing damage to a stunned enemy, I want to stun her. So my best bet here would essentially be Pulchra. And now what that's going to do is essentially I just copy the same team, but now you see the process behind why I copied it. Soldier 11, Pulchra, and Lucy, both of these characters being within the same faction are definitely going to mean they work together. So I really don't have to think too hard about that. Let's go again. Let's see another character, right? Let's say I was going to build something with Minato. So Minato, in his case, really don't need too much, right? We scroll down here, we'll see the additional attack here or additional ability. And I want a character that is either a support or stun character. That makes it really easy to build a character like Minato because everything falls under that category when it comes to supportive characters. But now we take it a step further. What exactly does Minato want and how does this character play? Now, from my own experience, I know that Minato is mostly an on-field character. However, he really does like doing this right here, which is going to be his assist counter, assist follow-up. After he does the parry, he comes on field and wham, 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 and he just goes ham. It's awesome. It's great. We love doing it, which means I want a character that's primarily going to be on field instead of him, or at least more of a 50-50. Because of that, we go back over here and you can kind of see the team that I've already pre-built, being Anby, which is going to be my on-field stunner. We have Minato, and then we have Pan. Pan being here to give the buff up, right? The sheer force buff up for Minato. Anby being here just for being Anby, and I'm not really worried about Anby's additional passive here. It's really not going to bring me anything except the extra energy, which is still good. But because she's on field, she's already getting that extra energy anyway, so it's totally okay. In the event you had something else, you could run with that. You could also do something else where it's like, hey, you know what? I really want to build Pulchra. Now, let me go and explain why that would be a little bit problematic for someone who might be a new player and you're trying to build up your 3 teams. If you notice, let's say that I did exactly what I just said. We're going to put Minato here. We're going to use Pulchra, and then we're going to go with Pan. I'm now sharing one character on 2 different teams, which means once I get to end game and I do need separate teams, which you need up to 3 at this current moment in time, I can't actually use my teams. So you want to go ahead and prepare your teams, at least for what you have, without using multiple characters, at least on the same team. And of course, this doesn't matter if you're playing like story or this is a team that you're using and you know the other team just isn't being used right now. But I'm under the assumption that everyone doesn't have every character, which means you have to work with what you have. You also have a character like Zhao, and in some situations, Zhao would be a great replacement for some of the characters that I put on my team. This really just comes down to whatever it is that you want to do. Nicole, baby girl, I love you. Nicole is like great everywhere. The problem with Nicole was that I don't have another Oball Squad character or fire character like a lighter in order to allow Soldier 11 to get her additional passive so that I could just put Nicole in the bag. But Nicole is absolutely like one of the best things to build in the entire game. After that, we can go straight into tip number 3, which is going to be resource management. Too many players make the mistake of rushing through in-game just to unlock in-game. Why is this a problem? Because it's one of the main reasons players keep expressing how they can't build 3 teams or don't have the resources. Apply whatever reason you want here to make up for that fact. The issue with that statement is that the game is naturally designed for players to take their time, or at least a reasonable amount of time to progress through the proxy levels and the story, so that each player can properly build their teams without feeling rushed. This is one of the most prominent reasons why I constantly keep saying that players do naturally have 2 teams that are in-game ready, or at least they should have them at in-game ready levels by the time they reach that around level 50-ish status in their account. So what does that mean? Don't waste resources and time on agents that are not a part of the plan. Earlier, you saw my account only has about 5 agents with levels invested. Because I'm early game, 1 day's worth of stamina lets me completely build out a character's skills, core, and engines. Then, because I have so much to do at the beginning of the game, my Zenny and experience farm is designed to always let me invest into upgrading agents without using stamina to farm that stuff. A pro tip that I borrowed from Genshin Impact is to level up the essentials for your main team in between your account ranks. You know how the game tells you things like senior proxy level needed to progress further? Yeah, well, max that out and then move on to the next. Each of my Soldier 11 skills can be raised to level 5 before I get soft blocked by the senior proxy. What I'm not going to do is raise every skill up to level 5 and waste resources. Why? Because they aren't important to my goal. Soldier 11's damage as a DPS comes from her basic attack, skills, and ultimate, meaning those 3 are my main and only priority that I should be leveling up right now. Once each of them reach level 5, I move on to my next target. Within early game, you are mathematically guaranteed to complete 2 full teams by the time you reach an in-game ready account. Next up is probably my favorite tip. I don't know, pick a top tier, it might be my favorite, but anyway, learn the game. I know this is gonna sound like a skill issue, guys, but I promise you, it is and it isn't. All right, let me explain. A large part of what players can or can't do comes from three major factors. One, the player thinks they're better than what they actually are, and they're constantly looking for excuses on why they can't do the thing. Number two, their account isn't actually ready for in-game. When most hear that phrase, they immediately think of levels or pulling the right characters, but those things barely scratch the surface. And then three, the player's environment and source of information. Most players don't know where to get a strong source of information that guides them through the questions or the challenges that they're having. Sure, basic information like character guides and how to build them are around, but how to actually play not just a character, but the team of choice is not readily available for Google to just pop up on your screen. I've said 100 times that the game sucks at teaching you the more mechanical things in the game that I believe a player needs to know for a comfortable and confident clear in the end game. These three factors are talking points that I bring up with my community all the time when coaching them through their own accounts. From the point you start the game all the way up to about level 50, you should use this time to fully grasp everything in the game that you can possibly do. How your team works, how to perform specific combos with agents, which type of builds perform like this or that, and especially learning the matchups your team have against the game. I keep saying it. One of the most important blockades in this game is knowledge. If you don't know how to do something, you can eventually learn it, and that's better. If you don't know something, then you'll continue repeating the mistake until someone or something tells you it's wrong. Everyone likes to treat gacha games like they're the easiest thing in the world, and it requires zero thinking capacity, but that's nowhere near true. The only thing that requires zero thinking capacity is bad faith arguments on Twitter. What makes someone believe a thing is easy in anything really is by having an absurd amount of knowledge on that subject to the point it feels like second nature to them. Gaining that knowledge about Zenless is ridiculously easy when the beginning of the game caters to players trying to learn the game. It's not the best at it, but it's trying. And if you combine that with your own due diligent research, then it's even easier. The last tip I have for you today is that learning how to optimize your gear is a never-ending process, but thankfully, this is a lot easier for free-to-play players than they think. We already talked about not wasting stamina or rushing through the game in order to get to endgame faster. Unless you're speed running with efficiency or spending money, your account simply won't be ready for the endgame. In the process of that, it's important to understand the best way for you to manage your disk drives before dumping a bunch of resources into S-rank farming. If we come over into the game, there are going to be about 3, maybe 4 very important pieces of material that you're going to get that you want to pay attention to. The first one is going to be A-rank disc. I don't have a lot of them because I'm already at endgame on my account, but you will get a lot of A-rank disc, and now with the new changes that they've made to the game, you will get a handful of S-rank disc as well. The next things that you'll be getting are these right here, the master copy tapes. The most important ones are going to be these purple ones here, these pinkish ones, because you can craft them, which I'll show you here in a bit, into the gold ones, and you will get a handful of gold ones as well. You're also going to get a few hamster cages. This is going to help for your skills, and then a couple of tuning calibrators, and you want to save these as much as possible, as well as any resonating cores that the game gives you. And so if we come back down here, you guys can see that I have over 400 purples and over 200 master copies for my gold. Think of this as what you might have for endgame. I don't know the accurate number just yet because I'm so far past it, but we can use this for my example. You're gonna come over here into craft, right? Well, I guess before we do that, let me go ahead and show you guys what not to do. A lot of people will come into the game. I made this mistake plenty of times whenever I was early on last year, and I wasted so much stamina trying to hunt for disc. You don't have to do this, right? At one point, we had free runs every week with the weekly from the Hello Zero and the Victoria Made tickets. They've changed that, so now you have batteries. That's the other thing I was going to mention, by the way, guys, is batteries. Batteries is the last final piece of like free things. Do not use these, all right? When you're playing through the game from start to finish or from start to end game, you are going to get a crap ton of ether batteries. Do not use them. Don't use them to, oh, I got to level my character. Don't do it. Don't do it. Save them until you get to the final stages of your end game, or basically like level 55, 60, whatever the case may be. When you're approaching end game and you're ready to start farming, these will be a lifesaver in running your time. Now, going through this stuff here costs 60 stamina. You don't have to come in here and do this. A lot of people think they do, but they don't, especially if you've been playing the game from start to about, like I said, 45 or 50, 55, whatever the case may be. I'm just gonna say in game, okay? So once you get to this point where you've climbed your way to in game, do not come and use stamina here because you really just don't have to. You can use your batteries if you want to because it's easier, but before you do that, it's gonna be a lot easier for you to manage something in a different way. Let's say that I had, I don't know, we'll go back to one of my lower level characters here. Let's go with my Soldier 11. We come over to Soldier 11, and let's say that I've been working on her, as I mentioned before, since the start of the game. And so I might have an S rank here, I might have an S rank here, I might have an S rank here, but the other three might be A ranks. Why is that important to mention? Because one, a combination of A ranks and S ranks will still give you the clear. It'll still help you get your 20k in Daily Assault or your 25k in the new Shiyu Defense remodel. You don't need a full set of S rank disc in order to get what you want. This is why it was also important that tip number 4 was learning the game. You also don't need them to be level 15, but it's just like minuscule things that you really don't have to worry about. I'm just over explaining now. Finishing up what I'm talking about here, you guys can see the pieces that I have right now set up on my Soldier 11. Again, these are throwaways, but let's just pretend that you've got these pieces as well. You can see this disc 2, crit damage +1, crit rate +1, AP +3, and defense. This is not a good disc. I don't want this disc. I had crit, that's awesome, but it didn't really roll in the way I wanted to. And so now I can keep it, I can throw it away, or I can use it for something else. What I'm really looking for is to replace this disc, or even better, come over here and like, hey man, I don't have anything here, but I do have this pin ratio. Let's go ahead and put that there. Do I have an attack? I don't have an attack, right? And I have something down here, maybe, right? Let's just go with another. Do I have crit damage? I don't. Oh no. Oh wait, I got a crit rate. Okay, cool. I'm just gonna do this just for the sake of explanation. And so now the final piece here is looking for an attack disc, right? I do have attack 6. I have crit damage, but no crit rate. So let's just say, dang man, I really want an attack 6 disc. I need to go get that. Do I go farm it? No, you don't go farm it. You're gonna come over into the disc crafting, right, with Bardic Needle, and then you're gonna go over here. You're gonna set it up. You're gonna pick the woodpecker, and you're just gonna roll it. You can select to roll on this one here, which will just be tuning 1, right? I'll use 6 of my disc. I'll tune it over here, and it'll give me one of these 6. Now let's say that I want it to make sure it's attack. I'm gonna use one of my tuning calibrators, which you see I have 2 of, and we're good. Now I can take this a step further. Let's say that I want to make sure it has crit rate. Boom. Now I can use my resonating core and I'm good. Pro tip from me, I don't suggest you use these resonating cores unless you absolutely know you're going to get it. Like, cause it has no control over what you roll into and it sucks, but whatever. Anyway, I'm not going to use one of those, right? So it's just a tuning calibrator, which you'll have plenty of as you progress through the game. And then you'll have plenty of gold disc. But let's just say that you run out of gold disc, which is very much possible that will happen. Come over here in the craft, and you can see we now have an auto craft feature. My 400 purples can be converted into 85 golds. Why is that important? Because this is basically helping you complete your S rank collection for whatever character you want as efficiently as possible without wasting stamina. And then when do you waste stamina, right? When do I actually go inside of the outpost here and I look for whatever it is that I'm farming? The most efficient time to do this is very similar to how we do it in Star Rail or in Genshin, any other gacha game that you might be familiar with. Find something that you're farming that both discs will be better for you to use. So right now, people have Ye Guang and they might be saving up for the idols. So this is the perfect run for them. Whitewater Ballad is the best thing to do for Ye Guang. You can always improve on that. And then you also have Shining Aria, which is also going to help you improve on that. You come over here, you farm it, you roll it with the auto combat, whatever you want to do, and this is going to be better for you. We also have the auto dismantle, so it's automatically going to get rid of A rank disc and below, which means you don't have to worry about any of these happening. It'll auto convert into the purple stuff, and then you can convert that into the gold stuff. The last thing here would be like, oh man, you know, I really do have some crappy disc. I don't think I have any more right now. I think we got rid of all mine. We're optimizing my account as well, but you know, here we go, right? 1 and 1. So I roll these, they didn't really roll into what I wanted them to. So instead of me going to farm more, I can just go ahead and click on this, click dismantle, and you see got a lot of these reds actually. Wow. Boom, quick select all discarded. This is gonna be 47 golds, guys. 47 golds, 52 experience, the blues, and then the 8 of the experiences as well. Really good because it helps you basically what you put in, you're getting about 50 to 75% back, right? So it's not going to be too hard. This is the efficient way to go about farming disk drives once you reach this in-game status. And it's something that not a lot of people talk about. So a lot of players really just don't know how to effectively do it, and they end up wasting resources and stamina. And so the last thing here that I want to talk about when it comes to disk drive management, which we're still inside of the game here, is basically upgrading your characters or working on your account is a never ending process. It's always going to be something that you can upgrade until you get like #1, whatever, right? The perfect stats, or at least whatever you're looking for. A lot of players usually make the mistake of leaving their characters at the bare minimum. Let's take my Miyabi, for instance. My Miyabi is not where I want her to be. She's getting there, but she's at what I would consider maybe a little above average. 74 crit rate, 2800 attack, 104 crit damage, and then a pin 5 disc, right? Because I have 24% pin ratio. There are different things that I could do. There are different builds that I can make. There are different things that I could change about her that's going to get her improved on, right? I can increase her AP so that she's closer to that 275, maybe 300 range. I can get her crit damage above 125 or even to 150. Keep the crit rate around 75% because I have her W engine, and then get that attack up to 3000, as well as keeping the pin ratio to 2400. I can get rid of the pin 5 disc, which you can see over here, and then I can give her an attack disc. Where is it at? Probably don't have one. I probably don't have one. I guess I don't have an attack disc, right? But I can give her an attack 5 disc, and then this would change, like this one right here, boom, attack 5. And now we're well over the 3000 cap. Boom, I'm good to go, right? But now my crit rate is off. I'm constantly working on these things in order to improve my character. I can give her the ice damage disc, which would still keep the 2800 attack, but now I have that ice damage bonus that's going to help her get a little bit more damage. You're always working towards making something better or stronger depending on what you got going on. I could get rid of the 2-piece attack if I wanted to, but I want to keep it because it's kind of cool. I like the way it looks, but I can get rid of that, right? I can improve it. I can make something better. You can always work towards more things. And so you're constantly improving whatever you have in your account. And it's even better when you're, I don't necessarily like lock this to free to play, but it's even better whenever you're building characters on your account and you have a very small roster. As you guys can see, being a content creator, I have every single character in the game, but you might not have that, especially if you're not spending money. You might only have about 7 or 8 or even 10 characters out of the 30 to 40 something characters that we have available to us, which means what you're working on all the time will always effectively be disk drives that can be used for any handful of characters that you have on your account, because you should never be farming for something that you really just don't have access to.
And with that, we're out of here. Each of these tips are catered towards the type of player who wants to enjoy their progression through Zenless Zone Zero without hitting a brick wall in the middle of their journey. Of course, there are still a few mistakes that could be made here and there, but this video's purpose is to help you mitigate that as much as possible. Now in the future, I'll have a few videos that focus on select agents to grab and teams to build or how to play them. For now, if you still need my help, try checking out one of these videos that pop up here, one being for new players and the other being for veterans who are kind of like preparing for endgame. I can't say my user outro because it's inappropriate for YouTube. Like the video, comment, subscribe. Smell you later.